So you're scared to go to Horror Nights, huh? Don't worry, all of us have been in that boat. Well, a large majority of us have been in that boat. Today I'm here to help you. That's right, I'm here to help you understand how a scaredy cat can truly attend Halloween Horror Nights. Let's get into it. Okay, so your heart's racing because you're getting ready to experience Halloween Horror Nights, probably for the first time, or you've gone in the past and you're still kind of scared to attend. Don't worry. The thing I highly recommend to you, first and foremost, get to the park before Horror Nights starts. Get to the park before Universal transitioned into Halloween Horror Nights. Therefore, you can go ahead and experience a lot of the things with the lights on. Walk through the scare zones, see a bunch of the props and everything. You can see where the actors are going to be. Of course, there's no actors during the daytime, but seeing these scare zones in the day will help you kind of adjust to seeing the actors later in the night as well. And with that comes a solid tip that I have here. I have at least 5 of them and one bonus at the end, but this first one here is going to be people watching those scare zones. So I do this a lot. It actually helps calm my nerves. If you guys don't know, I get very nervous. Fun fact about myself, but when I'm at Horror Nights, I like to sit down on a bench and just watch scare actors. 9 times out of 10, they won't interact with you, and if they do, it's kind of just in a joking, haha, funny way. So this is honestly one of the best things that you can do at the event. Just sit down and not have a bother in the world. Watch the actors, just have a good time. So yeah, people watching those scare zones, it will really help you out. Now, of course, are you too scared to sit there and watch the actors? Yeah, that's possible, but there's ways that you can watch from a distance. So I recommend doing this. So now let's say scare zones really aren't your cup of tea. So what do you do? Well, I highly recommend going and getting some food, trying some of the snack booths and everything like that. There are some that are out of the way of scare zones. Now, granted, this year you're kind of walking through a scare zone regardless as you enter the park, because right when you walk in, you have Oddfellows' Collection of Horrors. So there isn't really a way around this, because it's kind of taken over the entire front area of the park. So there's no way to avoid that unless you stay in Scream and you end up going to the food booths there. So you can try some of the snacks. They have them in New York. They have them in the front area right across from Minion Land, well, Minion's Cafe. They have them in San Francisco. They have them everywhere. And there's so many different snacks in this park that you can try. Some are scary and some are just delicious. So if you don't want to just people watching the scare zones, you can also get some food. So you can have a snack to enjoy watching people get scared. And you're not the one getting scared. It's like watching a horror movie. It's kind of a perfect mix. And let's say that you're not really in the mood to eat anything or watch people in the scare zones. Well, you're in luck. Some of the attractions are going to be open during Halloween Horror Nights. Now, at the moment, we currently don't have a list. We know from the past we have rides like Rocket, Gringotts, and Men in Black, to name a few, that will be open. So if you want to just enjoy the attractions, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of ways to not really get in on the scaring, but you can have a lot of fun, have short wait times for the attractions too, so keep that in mind. Now let's say that you do want to partake in some of the horrors and not so much go into the haunted houses, but you want to watch a show. Now granted, there's only one show this year and it is Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream. Well, it's a great way to sit down and enjoy 30 minutes. So it's a good show, it's going to be hot, and I'm telling you hot as in it's going to be very hot in there, but it's a nice way to escape getting scared. You don't really get a scare in the shows, you're kind of just seated the whole time watching the show, 30 minutes, no scare actors, just entertainment, and it's a great way to escape some of the big crowds. Of course, you're going to be seated around a lot of people, however, you don't have to worry about anyone pushing or shoving while you're sitting down and watching that show. So if you're trying to avoid those big crowds of mosh people, this might be your place to go, but it's also very frustrating if you don't get there early enough to watch a show, so keep that in mind as well. Now let's say you don't really want to people watching the scare zones, you don't really want to watch the show, you don't really feel like just eating snacks. Don't worry, this is something you can do before Horror Nights or during Horror Nights. Visit the Tribute Store. Now the Tribute Store is opening to everyone August 30th, but it will be open every night of Halloween Horror Nights, and it'll be open on non-Horror Night days as well, meaning that if you attend the park on a Monday, the Tribute Store will be open. So you can go and experience this little frightening experience without any scares. Now the Tribute Store never has any actors in it, but it's also always well themed to Horror Nights. So this year's theme is a comic book, so we're kind of just walking through the pages of the comic book. I'm excited to see it. I can't wait to see it. But altogether, it's a great way to experience some of the things that are going to be at Horror Nights without experiencing any of the horrors that are lying within. And then finally, my last additional tip, because I've given you my 5 tips already. This is something that if you can afford it would be fantastic and phenomenal. I'll put a little eye in, I don't know what corner it is, but an eye in one of the corners. You need to do an Unmasking the Horror tour if you can afford it. If you're too scared to attend the haunted houses and you want to see them, do an Unmasking the Horror tour. You get to see behind the scenes, you get to walk through the houses, and it's such a cool experience. I didn't do one until 30, and it's honestly made me fall in love with it. You get to see all the details that you don't usually see when you're just walking through the houses at night. So it's a really nice experience, and if you're really scared, too scared to enter a haunted house, trust me, this might be the way to go. Because it's not just the fact that there's going to be actors in there that'll scare you, there's props in there that'll make you be a little frightened as well. And in here, there's no sights, no sounds, and nothing that'll truly scare you, but you'll be able to experience the houses and maybe even work up the courage to go to the event that night. So, with all that being said, I hope I helped you out a little bit. If I did, let me know down below. And I want you to also tell me if you have any tips for anyone that'll be attending Horror Nights for the very first time and things that they need to know as well, because, well, we need to share our wealth here. And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys already haven't done so. And stay excellent, my dudes.